Formula Ford is 50 today. 50 years ago at Brands Hatch, we saw the first ever Formula Ford race. 50 years later, the category going strong. We celebrate those 50 years with the historic Formula Ford Championship. We've had 50 cars at Brands Hatch this weekend for those 50 years. And the cars head to the grid in this 50th anniversary celebration race for what will be round 6 of the historic Formula Ford Championship for pre-1972 cars. The fastest 38 drivers that are here this weekend will compete with the 16 marked from those years taking part today. The bottom 26 positions of this race were decided by a heat that took place earlier. Sunday's heat at Brands Hatch was all about Cameron Jackson working his way through the field after he lost power while leading Saturday's race. Here, Cameron Jackson working his way through the field on the opening lap of the race, starting way back in the mid-20s on the grid, working his way to the front. The race that will see the winner start 13th place for the race later on in the day. Here moving up the inside of a pair of cars into Paddock Hill Bend. Chris Stewart was another driver working his way through the field, here moving past Will Cowan at Druids. Kevin Stanzel was involved in a great battle which included Dan Pickett. It was only 2.5 laps is all that it took for Jackson to make his way to the front, passing Wesley Mitchell. Arsenal Langridge and Bill Cowing had a great battle, the Janetta and the Lotus here running side by side. Peter Hannum also was a driver just involved in the battles. Eddie Burke and Michael Rock Peterkin made their way through this huge tussle. But it was Jackson that came out on top. As you saw there, Cameron Jackson's winning the heat puts him 13th on the grid, but ahead of him it'll be the top 12 from yesterday's race, and that fantastic drive from Sam Mitchell yesterday puts him on pole, and alongside is Michael O'Brien. Sam's brother Ben goes third alongside Callum Grant. Ben Tilley and Richard Tarling on row 3 ahead of Ben Sims, Max Bartel, James Buxton, Matt Wrigley, Stuart Kesmant and Ross Driver. Then the heat runners, Jackson and Wesley Mitchell on row 7, and then those top 26 drivers from the race earlier on today will make up the rest of this fantastic capacity 38 car field, which will be a 20-minute race on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. It was an absolutely awesome race yesterday. Let's see if we can replicate that. We will ride on board with Callum Grant, the reigning champion, the championship leader for the start of the race. And away they go, and not the greatest start from the outside of the front row for Michael O'Brien. So Mitchell 1-2, heading down towards Paddock Hill Bend. Younger brother Sam leads the way, but it's Cameron Jackson now we can ride on board because he's going round the outside into Paddock Hill Bend to get himself ahead of Ross Driver. He was a bit sideways in the middle of the corner, now he's alongside for the Ford Stewart. Stuart Kestenbaum, who must have raced more Formula Ford races than anybody else, particularly here at Brands Hatch. But Cameron Jackson is going down the inside of him into Graham Hill Bend, and he goes through. Now, this is going to make it away past. It's Matt Wrigley that Cameron Jackson is going down the inside of it towards 30. There's another place picked off. Look back from Ross Driver with the Wesley Mitchell and Ed Thurston running side by side. It was Mitchell that was second in the heat earlier, third was Thurston, but way back on the grid, and he goes through. Side by side for the lead, the two Mitchell brothers run side by side through Hawthorns. On the inside, Sam stays ahead of his older brother Ben, but now he's challenging down towards Westfield is Ben, but he can't find a way through. Behind them, Callum Grant goes down the inside of Michael O'Brien for third. Richard Tarling is just behind, and more battling. That's Wesley Mitchell sliding his way ahead of Ross Driver. That also happened at Westfield, and here come our leading pack. It's a whole gaggle of them, but the two Mitchells leading the way. What a sight this is, and see Formula Ford head round the Grand Prix loop on this, the opening lap in one long train, not necessarily all the way because they're side by side in some instances. Head back down towards the Indy circuit where they turn right and clear way before heading onto the Brabham Straight. We ride on board with Richard Tarling now, as there's a real battle on for second. It's 3 wide in the paddock. It's Callum Grant that's gone down the inside. It's Michael O'Brien that's gone round the outside, and 2 places lost there for Ben Mitchell, who's trying to challenge back up towards Drew, but it's Richard Tarling coming round the outside of all 3 of them. He doesn't quite manage to get past Grant. He's going to run side by side with Michael O'Brien. Bit wide there for Tarling, that lost him a bit of momentum. He tries to come back down the inside of the Grapeville Bend, can't quite do it, but he's ahead of Ben Mitchell. It's all going on, isn't it, as they exit Grapeville Bend. Cameron Jackson looking for a way through. Ahead of him is Max Bartel, but Bartel goes to the inside of Sims, who's looking to the outside. Ahead of them all though, Ben Mitchell's gone back past Richard Tarling, who's out over the curve. Ben Tilley involved in this battle as well. Everybody jinking to try and find a way past the car ahead of them, and Cameron Jackson's got a fantastic run in the Neil Fowler Motorsport car. Ahead of Bartel, he's alongside Sims and Tilley. Sims carries his momentum around the outside and goes through, and Ben Mitchell runs that wide. Tarling's ahead of him, as is Sims. So Sims has gained a good number position, as had Jackson. Now they turn their way through Westfield. So in 4th position it's Tarling, 5th is Sims, 6th is Jackson. So he's gained 7 places already in this one. Sam Mitchell, Callum Grant and Michael O'Brien have got a good gap to this huge battle for 4th position. It's side by side there between Tilley and Bartel as they run through Stirling. Thurston is getting himself involved in that as well. He won the heat yesterday. And to come through though earlier on after it didn't go to plan in the championship race yesterday. Meanwhile, let's ride on board with race leader Sam Mitchell as he breaks down into Paddock Hill Bend. And around the outside of him has come Callum Grant into the race lead. It's been a great start to this race with Grant. Remember, he started 4th and he now leads as they turn their way through Drew instantly. Drop down towards Graham Hill Bend, and Cameron Jackson is right on the gearbox of Ben Sims, and Richard Tarling just ahead. But Jackson darts to the inside into Graham Hill Bend, but he has a huge slide in the middle of the corner. So Sims carries the speed around the outside, runs a bit wide but stays ahead. Now he's going ultra defensive, heading down towards Surtees, and around the outside of both of them comes Ben Mitchell. An experienced historic driver, hasn't raced a Formula Ford for a few seasons before this weekend. He's in the Jimmy's Iced Coffee Merlin Mark 20 owned by Marcus Pye. Getting really involved, isn't he? Side by side with Cameron Jackson, but Jackson carries the speed around the outside of Hawthorne to go back ahead of Mitchell, and now he darts to the inside of Ben Sims to get 5th position, and he goes through. Slides wide, so can Sims re-challenge up towards Sheen Curve? He's giving it a good go. And Ben Mitchell seeing if there's run round the outside. Not quite though. And that's allowed Richard Tarling to make a break. And it's a battle for 5th. They turn their way into Stirling. Mitchell looks to the inside of Sims. Can't quite do that. It's Tilley behind, as well as Bartel and Thurston. Looking back from Callum Grant, the race leader. He's got Sam Mitchell chasing him in the toe. He goes to the left-hand side of the circuit to go for the lead. He's on the high, wide and handsome line, but he backs out of it at Paddock Hill Bend and tries to get the cut back as they come down the hill, but Grant has that one covered. He stays ahead of Mitchell as they go on the brakes for the Druids hairpin. Back on board with Sam's brother Ben, who has Ed Thurston coming down the inside of him. This has been a great first part of the race from Ed Thurston, who's in his first full season of car racing. Over the curve for Mitchell. Finished on the podium in the Guards Trophy earlier on today. He's not the only person in multiple categories this weekend. Max Bartel and Cameron Jackson and Ben Tilley all racing in other series as well. Chris Stewart down the inside of Rowan Williams at Paddock Hill Bend. Stewart was a non-finisher yesterday, so had to come through the heat. He's doing the same here. Ross Driver, he's battling with Brian Morris. He's just gone down the inside of him into Hawthorne. Involved in that as well is Rob Smith, who squeezes down the inside into Westfield. And he goes through, but he catches the curb, and the car tries to throw itself at the scenery. Smith just about holding that car on the circuit. Cameron Jackson up with Richard Tarling now in the back of the 4th, but we've had dramas behind, haven't we? And we've lost Ben Tilley. Max Bartel's fallen down the order. side by side for the lead. Sam Mitchell tries to do as he did last lap, go round the outside of Callum Grant, but he's staying committed this time. The high, wide and handsome line works this time for Sam Mitchell as he goes for the lead. Change of fourth, Cameron Jackson dives down the inside of Richard Tarling and he goes through. Ben Sims getting involved in this as well. We've got the Lola ahead of the Macon, ahead of the Jomo. Big slide on there for Sims as he tries to challenge coming out of Druid and down the hill. More battles though further back. We can ride on board with Kevin Stanzel, who's battling with Dan Pickett. A bit wide there at paddock though for Stanzel. Climb the hill up towards Druid and Aston Littlewood coming down the inside. Littlewood gains the place. Down into Granville Bend, the left-hander they turn into. Back on board with Ben Mitchell, who re-challenges Ed Thurston up towards Hawthorns. Sits behind him on this occasion. This is Alden versus Merlin. The Alden gets a bit sideways, so Mitchell carries the speed through the corner much better. He's on the inside line now. As they go into Westfield, you don't see too many places gained there, but Ben Mitchell's made it work. Brother Sam continues to lead the way though. There is Ben Mitchell then with Ed Thurston right behind him. Going well in ninth position is Matt Wrigley, battle on the 10th. That's Stuart Kessenbaum ahead of Wesley Mitchell. You've got James Buckton and Max Bartel. Gap back to the car of Kim Bride, who's ahead of Ross Driver, Brian Morris, Rob Smith and Michael Grant Peterkin. Gap back to Neil Shinner, who's ahead of Roland Spencer. You've got Andrew Wiggins. Then the battle between Dan Pickett, Alistair Littlewood and Kevin Stanzel. Change for the lead into paddock as Callum Grant goes around the outside of Sam Mitchell. A great battle we're seeing between the pair of them here, and that is bringing Michael O'Brien back into play. They turn their way into Druid. He's definitely free for the lead now. What can Cameron Jackson do behind? He's come through 13th on the grid to run in 4th. Remember, he had to come all the way through the heat as well after starting in the mid-20s. A fantastic drive this has been from Jackson. Can he get himself onto the podium? Sam Mitchell had the great drive yesterday, coming from 10th on the grid to win, and now he's in the tow of Callum Grant, and you've got Michael O'Brien who's in the tow of both of them, but it's a great run down towards Hawthorns for Mitchell. He's going down the inside of Callum Grant to take the race lead, so yet another place change for the race lead. Mitchell's back ahead. Right on board with Ross Driver as he continues to chase Tim Bride. They will run side by side underneath the vehicle bridge headed up towards Hawthorns, and Bryce just about hanging on ahead. Though there are so many marks competing this weekend, the Merlin Mark 20 certainly the most favoured, and both of these drivers both in that chassis. Side by side for the lead, and Grant and Mitchell once more go side by side up into Paddock Hill Bend, and a late move there from Cameron Jackson to go ahead of Michael O'Brien to get third. Grant's got the lead off of Mitchell, so two changes of position into Paddock. Paddock Hill Bend delivering with some great racing, but there's yellow flags out of Druids. And why is that? We've got a car off the driver's left. That looks like the car of James Lovett, teammate to Cameron Jackson in the Neil Fowler Motorsports stable. Up towards the left-hander at circuit. It's Grant ahead of Mitchell, ahead of Jackson, ahead of O'Brien, and we're on board with Cameron Jackson, who's had a good run out of 30. He's had a look to the left-hand side of Sam Mitchell, but as Mitchell is in the tow of Grant, he has been able to pull away. A late move though from Jackson into Hawthorns. Mitchell saw that coming to late, gave him space, but Jackson unable to go through. Puff of smoke there off the back of Mitchell's car by the looks of things. Leaders climb their way up towards Sheen Curve. Tarling and Sims working their way up to this leading battle now as we get 6th for the lead in a lap or so. Behind them, Ed Thurston back ahead of Ben Mitchell in the battle for 7th. Mitchell using all the curbs on the exit of Stirling's End. He's got a good run there for up towards Clearways, and he goes down the inside. Ben Mitchell back up to 7th. Let's run aboard with the race leader, Callum Grant. Well, he's no longer the leader, is he? Because Sam Mitchell's gone down the inside to reclaim that position. Up towards Druids they go. Meanwhile behind, battles continue all the way through the field, as we've seen all weekend here at Brands Hatch. What a way this weekend has been to celebrate 50 years of Formula Ford. All 4 races have been absolute crackers with battles all the way through the field, just what Formula Ford racing is all about. Race leader Sam Mitchell up towards Hawthorne. He's no longer the leader because Callum Grant goes through, Cameron Jackson goes through. A shake of the head from Sam Mitchell as he drops down to 3rd. He drops down to 4th because Michael O'Brien now goes down the inside of him. Mitchell, who was leading, now down to 5th because Richard Tarling squeezes his way through up on the inside, and Tarling and Sims now part of this battle. Very disappointing, half a lap there for Mitchell as he loses 4 positions. What can Jackson do about the race leader Callum Grant? Can he get on the podium? Can he win the race? He is challenging Callum Grant, heading up towards Paddock Hill Bend. Grant and Jackson run side by side around the outside from Cameron Jackson into Paddock Hill Bend, and he goes to the front. Jackson now leads at Brands Hatch. And it's side by side for 4th, almost there headed into Druids. Sam Mitchell challenged Richard Tarling front, gets back ahead as the top 3 get away. Mitchell sees his chance for a double race victory disappearing here. Turn left through Graham Hill Bend and now up towards Surtees. Defending his Tarling, so Mitchell looks to the outside. We're riding on board with Ben Sims, Macon, Merlin and Jomo in this battle, heading out onto the Grand Prix loop now. The long run down towards Hawthorne, which has seen plenty overtaken over the weekend, and Mitchell's planning to make it another one. He goes around the outside of Tarling into the far right hand. He goes right round the outside to gain the position. It's now on terms of them as they head on to Westfield. Top 3 certainly been able to get away in all of that. And it is our new race leader, the Lola of Cameron Jackson, ahead of Callum Grant and Michael O'Brien. Mitchell, Tarling and Sims in the battle for 4th. There you go. Ben Mitchell just started the gap Ed Thurston now in their battle for 7th position. Then in another battle here, we've got Max Bartel just ahead of James Buckton and Westy Mitchell. Challenge though for the race leaders. Callum Grant pulls out of the toe and attempts to go around the outside of Cameron Jackson, but Jackson really late on the brakes at Paddock and he stays ahead. Jackson also raced in Formula Junior and Classic Formula 3 this weekend. Battles continue around the track though, including Kevin Stanzel and Chris Stewart there. There's Dick Dixon just ahead of Ian Geary. Here is Ben Sims turning into Surtees just behind Richard Tarling. Defended, so Sims going to the outside. The 2 cars will run side by side into Hawthorne from the inside line of Tarling will keep him ahead. Drifting his way through the corner though for Sims, puts him up on the inside as they run into Westfield. A great move there from Sims. All over the curbs he is to go up into 5th. Continuing to lead though, it is Jackson with Grant and O'Brien right behind. Sam Mitchell is chasing after them, and we've got Sims and Tarling as they turn their way through Stirling. Sims all over the curb, sparks flying out the back of the Jomo, and the car slides to the inside of the circuit. Sims holds on to it a bit of a big moment there for Ben Sims. Wrigley 9th, 10th is Bartel ahead of Buckton and Wesley Mitchell. save there for Sims, though. A huge moment it was for him. Side by side for the lead as Grant tries to go around the outside of Jackson once more. Can't do it, he's under pressure from Michael O'Brien now. O'Brien goes to the outside for Druids. He's trying to come round there, but he can't quite do it. He needs a tuck back underneath him and have a good run down the Graham Hill bend. Again, he goes back to the racing line to try to carry as much speed through the following corner as possible. Chris Stewart now, who's having a dice with Kevin Stanzel. Good run out of Clearway, he's using the toe to get up alongside out of Clark Curve. The two cars will run side by side, passing the start and finish line. The inside for Stanzel should keep him ahead, and indeed it does. Sparks fly out the back of the Crossley. Jackson starting to gap Grant now. Third position. O'Brien, Mitchell 4th, 5th is Tim, 6th is Tarling, 7th is Ben Mitchell, 8th is Thurston, 9th is Matt Wrigley, who's had a couple of good runs here at Brands Hatch. Bartel, Buckton and Westy Mitchell leading 12. Out of Paddock Hill Bank for battle for second place. Michael O'Brien does the same as last time. He comes around the outside of Grant. The two cars absolutely level through the corner. They were so close to one another as well, but they stayed in the same order. The inside lines of Grant working to keep his car ahead, but O'Brien carries better speed through the corner, right underneath Grant. Just touches him ever so slightly there. Meanwhile, Tim Bryce leads this absolutely fantastic tussle down towards Clearway. Back to the battle for 5th as Richard Tarling dives to the outside of Ben Sims. The two cars will run level through the corner. Sims stays ahead. It looks as if 20 minutes is going to elapse at the end of this lap. So the cars are on to their final lap, and Michael O'Brien uses that as an opportunity to gain the position round the outside at Hawthorne. Fantastic move. Richard Tarling replicating that on Ben Sims. The two cars run side by side for 5th place. They continue to run side by side out of the corner. Tarling using the outside line to give him momentum onto Westfield, and round the outside at Westfield. A fantastic move to gain 5th place. For the final time into Sterling, O'Brien and Grant are nose to tail. Cameron Jackson getting away, looking good for the win. There's two cars to lap before the flag goes. There is Sims, right from turn with Tarling still with Ben Mitchell chasing a puff of smoke out his car as it bottoms out over the curb to win the race from 13th from the grid to round 6 of the championship. It's won by Cameron Jackson. He wins for the first time in historic Formula Ford with a fantastic drive, beating Michael O'Brien and Callum Grant. 4th goes to Sam Mitchell. The battle on for 5th to the line though. Tarling holding off Ben Sims. Wow, what a race once more. 4 absolute crackers here. And the battle to continue. Then Brian Morris down the inside of Rob Smith to gain a position. Chris Stewart there looking up the inside of Kevin Stanzel on the way to Clearways. And a problem right at the edge for Dick Dixon. Arm out the cockpit. A race it was though from Cameron Jackson. Double winner here today, winning the heat and winning the championship race. First person to do that, and congratulations from the Neil Fowler Motorsport crew after that to Jackson, and rightly deserved too. A absolutely awesome drive. Let's have a look at the result then. It was the Lola of Jackson that won. He beat Michael O'Brien and Callum Grant. 4th was Sam Mitchell, the 4 of them finishing just over a second apart from one another. Richard Tarling, he beat Ben Sims. And then Ben Mitchell took 7th ahead of Ed Thurston. Matt Wrigley took 9th, holding off Max Bartel, James Buckton and Westy Mitchell. Stuart Kestenbaum took 13th ahead of Ross Dryber. Then Tim Bryce won that fantastic battle for 15th, just holding off Neil Shinner. Michael Grant Peterkin, Roland Svensson, Brian Morris and Rob Smith all involved in that. Andrew Wiggins was up next, ahead of Chris Stewart, who passed Kevin Stanzel right at the end, and Alistair Littlewood behind them. Ian Geary, Dan Pickett, Chris Williams, Rob Lampslow, Peter Hannum, Stephen King, Rudolph Ernst, Dick Dixon, Nigel Adams and Phil Nelson concluded the finishers, We head to Croft next for round 7 and 8 of the Championship, but up first will be the Silverstone Classic for 2 non-championship races.